Old Man Winter throwing a little bit of ice into parts of the region. We'll show you who has the best chance of seeing some slick travel coming up.
A disturbing discovery at a central Kentucky home. Now a mother has been charged with attempted murder.
Lexington's mayor talking to us about his goals for his second term in office, what he's hoping to see over the next 4 years.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 6.
Good evening to you. It could be a tricky night for travel across parts of Kentucky. Much of eastern and southeastern Kentucky will be under a freezing rain advisory.
We begin tonight with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey. He shows us what he's tracking on the First Alert Defender. Chris?
Yeah, talking about that freezing rain advisory that kicks into effect here at 8 o'clock, goes through 10 o'clock tomorrow morning for many counties in the southern and the eastern parts of the Bluegrass State. That's the area of greatest concern for some light freezing drizzle and freezing rain into the overnight. Here's a look at it. All the counties that are shaded in the pink with that freezing rain advisory: London, Corbin, Somerset, Williamsburg, and points east from there. We are included in that down the Mountain Parkway from Powell County to Salyersville as well. That's the area of greatest concern as we go through tonight for light freezing rain, maybe just some freezing drizzle. Throw a couple of snowflakes in there for good measure. You can get some slick travel early tomorrow morning, especially as temperatures go well below freezing. Now, Live First Alert Defender as of now picking up on some spotty showers, maybe a hint of a little mix showing up around Morehead State University and points to the east into Carter County. For the rest of the area, it's a lot of low clouds, a lot of fog, and a lot of drizzle. Throw the temperatures on Defender. 35 now, Lexington and Frankfort. Look at Covington. Very close to freezing at 33 degrees. Once we hit that 32-degree mark, we're going to begin to see things try to ice up just a little bit, and especially by the morning commute, some slick spots on untreated roadways. Though I'm tracking some late week changes that may have folks wanting to shake a lot of that ice off. Smiling. Short term, though, ladies, it is all about the ice potential. We'll break that down in greater detail, show you who gets what when I come back in about 15 minutes.
Thanks, Chris. Some disturbing charges tonight against a central Kentucky woman. Police say she gave birth in a toilet, then put the baby in a garbage bag.
Winchester police arrested 29-year-old Cassandra Haney and charged her with attempted murder. They say Haney's roommate realized what happened and called for help. Sam Smith talked to police about the investigation. He's our top story now at 6.
A call from a concerned roommate.
Roommate stepped up here.
Got the authorities involved. Winchester Police and Social Services were called out to this home on Linden Avenue on Friday for a report of a suspicious birth.
The mother claimed that she didn't know she was pregnant.
Police say Cassandra Haney gave birth into her toilet and left the baby boy in there for 15 minutes.
She had given birth, didn't know that the baby, whether or not the baby was dead or alive, and had then placed the baby into a plastic bag.
Police say her roommate heard the baby crying, saw what was in the bag, and called 911. After police were called, Haney was taken to the hospital. She was released over the weekend and arrested today. The 29-year-old is charged with attempted murder and tampering with evidence and is lodged in the Clark County Detention Center. She declined an interview to tell her side of the story. Police say this investigation is ongoing.
It's a sad thing, that's for sure, and so we're trying to get some measure of justice for the child here.
Police say the newborn is in the hospital and is stable. In Winchester, Sam Smith, WKYT.
Haney is expected to be in court to be arraigned on her charges Wednesday.
Police tell us it didn't take them long to find a woman suspected in a violent robbery at a gas station. Paris police arrested 36-year-old Donna Wiseman and charged her with robbery and assault. Early this morning, Paris police say Wiseman robbed the Shell station on Main Street and beat the clerk with a metal pipe. Police say they then called in a canine unit from Lexington Police to help search for the suspect.
They were able to secure scent, and they were able to make a successful track, and they found the suspect hiding on the railroad tracks underneath a rail car.
Store workers say the clerk is now home from the hospital and has some bruises on her back and arms. Store managers say Wiseman was fired from the Shell station a few weeks ago for letting some people drive off without paying for gas.
It has reached widespread levels across Kentucky, and the flu only seems to be getting worse. Many of the flu cases have been reported in nursing homes. In southern Kentucky, health officials say some nursing homes have even had flu outbreaks. Phil Pendleton has the story new at 6.
The Lake Cumberland Health Department serves 10 counties.
We have 4 outbreaks in long-term care facilities.
2 nursing homes in Pulaski, 1 in Casey, and 1 in Clinton are impacted in the Lake Cumberland Health Department district.
It's the same as any type of regular flu. It's generally feeling bad, fever, headaches, muscle aches, sometimes a cough, just the regular flu symptoms, even though it's a different strain.
They're calling it the H3N2 flu type A strain, and it's the perfect storm situation.
It's the target population. Of course, people over 65 and then the very young are the most at risk for flu complications once they develop the flu.
Nursing homes are being told to limit visitors.
Loved ones, family members, and things are still allowed to come, but they're restricting some of the activities and the movements of the residents within the facilities. They're practicing good hand hygiene, washing their hands often. They're offering vaccinations for any residents or staff who didn't get the vaccine already.
And health officials say it's still not too late to get a shot. They say although some who have gotten the flu had received a shot, they're still encouraging the vaccines. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Health officials say many of the nursing homes did nothing wrong and protected their residents and staff in every way possible. More help is now available for people struggling to pay their heating bills. Today, the Community Action Council began taking applications for the Low Income Energy Assistance Program, or LIHEAP. The federal program is designed to help low-income families pay utility bills, which can be expensive during the winter.
It's based on how well that house is insulated or how well their apartment is insulated. You can see a bill from $200 to $500. The range is really based on what's going on in that home.
This winter, the Community Action Council expects to help more than 6,000 families through LIHEAP. The program has $1.4 million available, and it's given on a first-come, first-served basis. For information on how to apply, just go to WKYT.com.
His second term started more than a week ago, and Mayor Jim Gray already has plans in place for his next 4 years. He says he wants to make Lexington the best city in America. Miranda Combs sat down with Mayor Gray to talk about what he learned in the last 4 years and what he hopes to accomplish during this term.
Every city has history, and there are typically landmarks, monuments, and other markers along the way. It's the history, according to the leader of Lexington, that sometimes tells us where we need to go in the future.
History is so relevant in a role like this because the further we can look back, the longer we can look ahead.
An avid history and art buff, Mayor Jim Gray is looking ahead to the next 4 years.
I do.
Congratulations.
We sat down with Gray, the city's first 2-term mayor in more than a decade, shortly after his inauguration earlier this month.
Every morning I get up thinking, how can we improve today what we did yesterday?
Gray says there's a good deal of unfinished business or history in the making in the months and years to come. He wants to focus on creating jobs. There are several projects in the works. One in particular is the 21C Museum Hotel.
21C has lights on from the ground floor to the 15th floor, perhaps for the first time in 50 years.
21C, a Louisville-based hotel chain that Gray says will not only house rooms, but a restaurant and contemporary art museum, will open in November of this year. A place that he hopes will preserve the past, but be an economic driver into the future. Same with the old courthouse next door. Last term, Gray said he wanted to preserve it. He knows it will cost millions. He is unwilling to guess specifics until a scope of work is determined. He also says it's too early to speculate use. Both the old courthouse and 21C sit in plain view of this rather controversial hole in the heart of downtown.
I'm unshakably optimistic that Centerpoint will also develop. What we have is a growing economy in Lexington. That means people want to be here.
A setback to the growth came just after the election last November, when a big get came and went.
And we still don't know the extent of that impact, full impact, but we know that it has had a significant impact on the project.
Law firm Bingham McCutcheon was welcomed with great anticipation in September of 2012. 2 years later, the firm was taken over by a Philadelphia company, leaving hundreds of Lexington jobs in jeopardy.
But Bingham was a loss for the city.
Oh, well, Bingham was a win, and then Bingham was a loss. So when you balance this out, you're saying, hey, you know, we played hard to win this, and circumstances in the private economy arose that affected that win, and now we're dealing with that.
Another loss for Gray last term, the renovation of Rupp Arena. Gray pulled the plug on the project during his re-election campaign. He says his plan for the renovation was solid and still is.
When the time is right, the plan is ready. We have an extraordinarily well-developed plan, and when the time is right, the plan is ready.
Cities across the country believe the time is right for raising minimum wage. Louisville just raised theirs to $9 an hour. Mayor Gray says he's heard conversations from council members about addressing Lexington's minimum wage.
I believe that a good living wage is essential. I believe in staying competitive.
Because for him, competition drives success on these streets, where old mixes with new and the future is present. In Lexington, Miranda Combs, WKYT.
Here's a little history about the old hotel building being renovated for 21C. Mayor Gray says the building was one of the first skyscrapers in the South between Chicago and Atlanta.
A new chief is now in charge of the Lexington Police Department. Next, what he says about the big achievement. And why some students at an Eastern Kentucky high school have collected hundreds of pairs of jeans.